So today we've hired a motorbike and we've come about 50, maybe 60 k's out from Siem Reap, and we're visiting the Wilderness and Aquarium Centre. First impressions, it's quite a modern building. It doesn't look very bad at all. I think this cost us $12.50 US each to enter. It was very nicely laid out. The first couple of aquarium sort of thing were some crocodiles here. We had some snakes over here. And a little bit further along, I think we had another snake. And then a lonely white one here. This aquarium was quite impressive. It is really quite large. And some of the fish, now I don't know exactly what these are, tilapia, I'm not sure, but they were huge. There must have been some in there, 40 pounds, I guess, all swimming around. I presumed this was freshwater, but I'm unsure. And this little bit of video on the fish goes for quite a while, so I'll just be silent here for a sec while we go through it. There were all sorts in here. I don't know what half of them are. That was interesting because it's all Asian aquatics. So it was interesting to see the different varieties of fish. And this place actually carried on for quite a way, the aquarium part. A lot further than expected. Again, another variety of fish which I'm unsure what they are. Whether we're freshwater or salt, again I'm unsure, but I think we're freshwater fish species here. Looking at the surrounding sort of rocks and things like that, there's only weed and stuff growing on the bottom. Again, these fish were quite big. So far, not bad. There was also quite a few smaller displays of smaller fish in their own separate little tanks. I presume that's our necessity so they don't get eaten. Some stingrays. With a few other fish I don't know in there. And then this little circular tank here, which, well, it appeared to be there was only one fish in here. Why it's separated, I don't know. But anyway, we couldn't find any other fish in there, so yeah, appears it's on its own. And then we came up here and yeah, here's some monster oh my god, I've forgotten the name of them. Arapana. Yeah, arapanas and some catfish, red-tailed catfish, and I presume another type of catfish in here. These things were huge. And I presume they're not even fully grown, so yeah, very impressive. Very strange looking fish. And with the wide tail that they got, I imagine incredibly powerful. Again, I'm sure these are freshwater fish, so I'm presuming that's a freshwater tank again. Now we're going to move on to the other side, and I'm presuming this tank had a separation, because I'm quite sure now we might be into salt water. Although maybe not those. I've no idea what they are. But again, quite a strange fish. Now you'll notice here we've got a whole lot of coral looking stuff, so I presume we've swapped to a salt water tank. We've got stingrays, etc. And I'm thinking these corals are actually real, because there's a huge variety of them, and they look all very good in very good health. So they must be salt water. Again, some odd looking fish. No idea what it is. And even a shark sitting there in the background that you can see under here. This tank again, I think, was separated. And I don't know if we're back to freshwater or still in salt. I think we've gone back to freshwater, but I'm not sure. I don't see the telltale signs of coral, not like over in this tank here. This seemed to go on for quite a while. I was quite impressed with how big it was and how well laid out it was. All sorts of varieties of fish to look at. Quite intriguing. And some of the corals were beautiful as well. After this area, you come out and you're into some shallow water ponds that they have in the displays outside of the actual aquarium itself. And I thought this was brilliant for kids, especially as they had very shallow tanks that you could look over and into. And as you'll see in a second, when we get out there, there were some smaller tanks on the way out. Had other tropical fish that we didn't know what they were. Still very beautiful to look at. I jumped the gun a bit here. As you can see, we're back in a bigger fish tank, and they had this glass dome thing you could actually go through a tunnel and pop up inside the aquarium. That was quite cool. There's some kids there enjoying that, getting their photos taken by mum and dad. Quite different. Oh yeah, we're still going. Alright, so we're still coming past fish. So as I say, this place was quite big. I was quite surprised how well laid out and how big it was. but we're nearly at the end of the aquarium. Alright, so here's the shallow water display unit. It's quite a large room with quite a few displays, and here you'll see things like anemones and clownfish, all sorts of shrimps, etc., and all sorts of other things. Again, very well laid out. Excellent for children to have a good look around. And after this, you exit the aquarium side of the place itself, and you'll come to a cafeteria type setup with windows where you can actually look out at the tigers. Now the tigers are all lazing out underneath that gazebo type thing there, which I don't blame them. It was terribly hot. In fact, all the animals seem to be lazing out. And then you exit this, and this is where it got a little bit confusing, and we probably should have read the signs a little bit more, because I'm not sure if we might have missed something to the right over there. But we walked around here for a while, and then we finally decided to read the signs. But quite impressed with how well it was laid out. Very clean, lovely gardens, some statues of a few elephants and other things. Somewhere along here, although it's not a picture, there was a crocodile with its teeth roaring out, trying to give you a scare. Well, that was hard to even see until you walked past it, so yeah, bit weird. You can buy some juicies at this place here on the left if you were getting a bit thirsty. But we finally found our way to what was like a centre area when we finally get there, and there were actually a whole heap of gazebos in there, that, or shelters, that I presume if you came with your family you may be able to pack yourself a picnic and come and have yourself a picnic in this area instead of having to purchase a meal or anything like that. And I thought that was quite cool. We had a rest in here just to cool down a little bit, and then we carried on to the sun bear display. Again, because it was so hot, sun bears were all way over there resting in the shade. Now I think there is feeding times for the animals that you can come and catch that happening, but I cannot recall when it was. Obviously not while we were there. All the animals were resting and shading out, which I can't blame them. This temperature in Cambodia is horrendous. And after the sun bears, we worked our way around again to try and find out where we were going next. And to our surprise, there was this huge restaurant type of area, which we didn't know about. If we had, we might have got a juice or coffee or something here, whereas we'd had one in the cafeteria back at the aquarium earlier. So you could have bought yourself some lunch here. I think some of these buildings were even maybe rentable if you were holding a party or a group and wanted to come here for a visit. Again, nicely laid out. super clean, and just everything was really tidy. Also, somewhere past here there was construction going on for more displays to be brought into the place in a short time. I can't remember what they were now, but obviously they're expanding all the time. After this, you then come to the crocodile area. Again, there was a feeding time, I think, for this that you could have come here to watch, because there's an area where somebody looks like they walk out to feed them, which you'll see in a second. I imagine that would have been quite interesting. They're all lazing there too, out of the heat. Then you come back into the entry, which of course we've come through the exit. And that's sort of ended our day at the Wilderness and Aquatic Centre. Well worth coming to. Hope you enjoyed the video.